Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Terra Tech. And on this episode, we are going to be continuing where we left off. Now, those of you who may have watched the last episode will remember this bot has been coming along pretty nicely. It looks fantastic from the front. I like the amount of weapons that it's on. It has plenty of shield bubbles and repair bubbles on here as well. The power does go down pretty quickly. It was fully charged just a second ago, and it's already lost one, so I won't spend too much time just kind of sitting here. We're going to get into the combat, but before we do that, we did see over here a new item that we have not discovered yet. I don't even know what it is. I don't think I've ever seen this item before. So it's an experimental resource radar. Okay, so we got a new radar. Huh. What kind of effects does it do? Does it, I guess it tells you where the resources are then, huh? I don't know, we'll have to play around with that. Hopefully it won't get destroyed in this fight, because we do have not only this little small guy, but we have an invader up here, so I'm hoping that we'll be able to take this guy on. You know, it kind of looks like a weird design right now, but a lot of this is going to get covered up here in the future, and it's going to be a nice, reddish, bluish color here when we do venture all over it. But until that happens, you can kind of see the inner workings of what this bot looks like, and yeah, it's still a work in progress, guys. So we need to keep this guy in front of us, because that's where all of our weapons are, and that's where we're doing all of our damage. Wow, this guy is just getting wrecked. Of course, he's holding his own. He's actually doing, not too hot. I mean, or not too bad. He's not doing any damage to us, but the amount of damage he can take with this bot is, outstanding, because I've gone against other bots before, and just going straight against them, they get annihilated. Like, there's nothing left of their bot by the time we get close. So, yeah, that's all destroyed right there. Oh, yes. We got a few of the battery packs. We're definitely going to take those. I can always use just a couple more. They're not insanely expensive. They're only, I think, 100 credits a piece. We did get a little bit of money for defeating him, I think, right? Or is he still there? He might still be there, because it doesn't... I didn't get an update on how much money we got. Let's see, anything else? Oh, yes, some of these studs, stud lasers. We're going to take those. We're going to throw those on the front, because that's going to be extra damage as well. And we have a lot of places for studs. I kind of, build that on purpose in that way, so that we do. Okay, we're going to stick all this over here on the side for now until we find a useful spot for those. And that kind of sucks, because I just actually spent a little bit of money buying a couple of those, because I didn't have as many as I thought I needed, and it ended up not being completely necessary, because we got an extra couple of them. But that's going to be okay. We're going to definitely find a use for them somewhere down the road. Let's see, can I put these over here somewhere? I guess we're already down to 2, but that's kind of misleading, because you got to remember we did just put on a whole bunch of batteries, and the batteries, they spread out the amount of power that they have. So maybe not as far down as I think we are. What is this over here? Is this a bot? What is this? It's kind of a... Oh, it was stuck up on the side. I was like, I've never seen a bot go in that weird direction. Holy crap. Triple hailstorm. What are the... Holy my... Oh, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Give me all those weapons. Those are our Uzis, guys. Oh, my God. Can you say payday? Can you say payday? Holy crap. I don't think I've ever seen so many Uzis in all my life. This is just fantastic. Let's put them on going in the right direction, so they're actually, worthwhile for us. Oh my God, guys. These things are insanely expensive. For me, anyways. Maybe most of you guys can afford them, but for me, not so much. I can't say the design was really all that great. It didn't, get my... my blood running as much as it could have, for sure. It could have been a lot more threatening, especially with that kind of, firepower that's on it. But, I'm going to accept it, because, hey, I want the pieces. And, if you want to create a design out there that doesn't work just to give people some really, really good weapons, occasionally I'm happy with that. I don't want it too much, because it does kind of suck some of the enjoyment out of it. Why are you going straight? Go to the side. There we go. There we go. One more to the side. I don't think I'm going to have enough blocks on this guy. He doesn't... It was mostly wills, it seemed. Yeah, wills and weapons. Wills and weapons. That is a... it's like boots and pants and boots and pants. I don't know. It's kind of weird design that he went with, but, I'm not going to argue too much. It did allow me to get all the goodies. Jeez, hail rifle. What was the name of that bot again? I don't remember. We'll have to go back and look. But I'm going to definitely keep an eye out for it, is what I'm thinking. Because I could use a few more of these weapons on my main bot. Not this guy. This guy's going to be overflowing with these things. So much so that I think at some point we might have to actually, I don't know, get rid of our other rifles. The Venture Fire ones that aren't as good as these. So, yeah, that might become a thing, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you want to look at it. Let's make sure these things are actually facing the right way. Yeah, there we go. Wow, they fire so freaking fast. I love it. It's not like the other ones that were like pew, pew, pew. You know, these things are non-stop fire, fire, fire. And, of course, we are doing some damage to the pieces that are still left, so I'm going to stop doing that. Let's move up as much as we can. Of course, we do have those solar generators in our way. Probably not the greatest placement for those, but, you know, we live and we learn. Let's see. Every single time I put these things down, they go in a different direction until after they've been placed. Once they've been placed, it seems like they have a set direction, and then I can kind of come in here and move them around from that direction. So I guess that's the technique to use, is just put them down first, see which way they point, and then pick them back up after the fact and actually reorientation, whatever you want to say the word that I can't think of tonight, to put that in the way that it needs to be going. And now our sides are super powerful. That is going to be amazing. Let's see, can we put these on there? I guess that would be a right direction, but I kind of want this way. Let's see, how many more blocks do we have? Just a few more, not too many. Okay, so let's throw these over here on the side. And I do apologize if, you know, you're watching this and you're like, we don't want to see you build all this. This is an amazing find. This is one of the reasons that I've played the game, because you just never know what kind of bots you're going to find and what kind of pieces you're going to find that will dramatically alter the way your, you know, idea was going to go. Because this is not what I thought I was going to be doing here. I thought I was going to come up here, kill these guys, maybe get one or two pieces, take it off in a different direction, because I actually wanted to start covering this bot on the top. And now I'm doing the side first. This would not have been my initial direction. So, I mean, it was something I was going to do down the road anyways, but not to this extent, not with this many weapons, and not in this pattern at the moment. So, yeah, I'm kind of liking that it's a it's a different direction. Oh man, I can't even think right now because I'm so excited that I got this stuff. Man, Uzis were something they just recently. I say recently because I've been playing this game for a long time now, and you know, when I think of in the duration of you know, how long I've been playing, recently is put into different terms for me than it may be for you. You may have been playing it for a month or something now, and you're like, oh well, this has been added for a while. Yeah, I mean, they have been in the game for a decent amount of time, but for me, they weren't in the game when I first started, and they weren't in the game for a very, very long time. So, yeah, recently for me. And they are fantastic. They are really, really powerful, kind of cool weapons that are unique. I think that's the one thing about this game that really brings me back to it again and again and again, and just causes just a lot of enjoyment, is with other games. And I'm not putting any of the games down that I'm about to mention, such as Borderlands, because I absolutely love Borderlands. It's one of my favorite games out there. But one of the things that I run into with games like that is they have a random generator that creates the items for you. A lot of the items are basic, just variations on the same theme. They're the exact same weapon. They just do a little bit more damage. That is highly addicting. I'm not going to say it's not, because I do get a lot of enjoyment at getting that one more weapon that's just, you know, a little bit more damage than the last one I had. That's, you know, freaking fantastic. However, with that said, it is kind of, actually not just kind of cool, it is highly enjoyable to find a game that each and every one of the weapons that you get is dramatically different from one another. Not easy to do. That means some programmer, some poor programmer, had to sit there and design it and get it to be the way it wanted it to be, and made it fit into the game so it wasn't overpowered, wasn't underpowered, didn't feel too much like something that was already out there. A lot of variables they have to go through, as well as just getting the thing to work. You know, they have to do the testing on that to make sure that it's not just going to freak out on the first person who fires it because he happens to be using, you know, geocore blocks with it rather than Venture, and he happens to have some strange combination that just doesn't seem to really want to work for them. You know, they have to do all that testing on it. So it takes a lot of money, a lot of time to put that much effort into a game. So I definitely appreciate it when they do that. And this game has kind of excelled at that because every single one of the weapons you get in this game feels, you know, a little different, sometimes dramatically different than the other weapons in this game. So that's kind of a cool little, you know, thing to be able to say that you did, that you accomplished that, and you did it very, very well because they have. And, you know, I give them props on that. I give them as much credit as I possibly can because I want to see that in more games. I understand why it's not in more games, but that still doesn't stop me from wanting to see it in more games. So, yeah, it is what it is there. Let's see. I think that's all the pieces that I can fit for now. Actually, let's put one here. No, we don't want that there. There we go. Right there. Any more? These are all the wheels. These are actually worth a decent amount of money. I think it was like 168 or 368 a piece on these, so it's not too bad if you want to go ahead and pick them up. You could actually, for the bot that I have right here, you could use them. You could put them like up here on the front. So let's go ahead and do that for a few of the pieces. Just kind of show you guys how it can be done if you want to. Should we use it over here? I guess we could. Let's see, can we put one over here in the inside? Yes, we can. Why can't we put one over here? Oh, there's lights down here. Okay, I see why. Let's move that up here because that's too high for a wheel anyways. We'll put that extra wheel there. You know, one of the things this is going to do beyond giving you a little bit more, you know, maneuverability is it's going to spread the weight out a little bit more for you as well. So if you're a little heavier than you need it to be, this is going to give you that extra, you know, distribution. It's also going to give you a little bit more traction because there's more wheels touching the ground. And even if you look in a situation like this where the wheels right there in the front aren't touching the ground because we're on a hill, later on, as you go over certain spots in the game, you will find that one of the sides of your bot, as it gets bigger and bigger, is touching the ground, but the other side's not. And if you have all the wheels on one side or evenly spaced out, but you're kind of putting all the weight on the right-hand side at the moment because that's the way the heel is set up, you're going to find that your bot is moving really, really slowly if it moves at all. Sometimes it just gets stuck, it gets bogged down. And when that happens, you may have to, you know, think about it. You may have to redesign your bot a little bit and be like, okay, normally, you know, 90% of the time, this design works. But occasionally when we go over heel, all the weight gets, you know, put on this one side. We might want to go ahead and put an extra couple of wheels, you know, over there just so that it can, you know, get over those little humps. And you'll find that it makes a huge difference when you start making, you know, the extra effort to do that. Because not only is it going to pick up the slack during situations like that, but it's also going to pick up the slack during the rest of the time. And, you know, you might be able to be at like 100% where your bot is completely covered by its weight. You know, your wheels are able to support that. And it's using, you know, like if you put one more piece on there, your wheels start to spark. But until you put that piece on there, it's perfectly fine. If you put extra pieces on there, the thing you'll find is that it actually allows you to go faster because it's spreading out that weight even more than it was doing before. And so that's kind of cool. And we're going to get all that kind of junk stuck underneath there. That was a bad idea. But we're going to back up a little bit. I kind of want to know what this thing does. Like I'm right clicking on it. It doesn't seem to show me anything special. Wow. Look at that. Laggy right there. There's a lot of wheels, so let's get away from those wheels. And of course, we're entering one of the worst biomes for lag because of all the items that spawn over here. And there's a gray arrow, so we're definitely coming over here regardless. But yeah, with all the blocks that are over here, the trees, the rocks, the different like lighting crystals and enemies that can be over here in this biome, you'll find that once you start getting to a certain size bot, and this is not one of the places you really, really want to come out to. Okay, so we've already gotten these tractor pads, but I'm going to go ahead and pick it up anyways. I'm probably not going to keep it. Flatbed, yeah, we're not going to keep that. Mainly for the fact that one of the main problems I was having with my other bot is, beyond the wheels, is that a lot of the stuff that we were running over was trying to be picked up through the receivers and through the tractor pads. And it was causing a lot of damage to my bot because when it tries to pick that stuff up, it does damage to the underside or whatever block that it happens to be hitting, and we don't want that. So let's pick this up. I think we already had these pieces. I mean, we did on one of the other Let's Plays. I don't know if we had them on this one. I did move around a lot of these just a minute ago, so I'm not going to hold on to those. Hopefully we got credit for that. Because, I did find out with our airplane that even though you put a cab in there and you take off and you fly around a little bit, it's part of your cab. It's part of your bot. You're actually using it and you're doing stuff with it. It doesn't necessarily give you credit for it until you actually pick it up with your mouse cursor. So no matter what item you're getting, if it's another bot that you just happen to take over, and that's actually a pretty cool idea now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know if you guys ever played a game, it's called Command and Conquer. They had these engineers in there, and you could create the engineer. He would go off, and if you protected him long enough, he could actually go inside the enemy's buildings, whether it was his main base or, some of the other buildings that he had, like the barracks and stuff, and you could take them over. It'd be kind of cool if they created a cab that you could maybe run up to the enemy with, stick it on the bot itself or shoot at the enemy or something along those lines to give you the ability to take it over. Make it hard, make it difficult, make it where you have to go, the extra mile. Like in Command and Conquer, it was hard. That guy had like one shot and he was dead by anybody in the game. It was one of the weakest units you could have. He couldn't attack back. He couldn't do anything other than take over a building. And later on in the game, once the buildings got harder, it took a lot more pieces, a lot more, actual engineers to take it over. It wasn't just one. You had to either get the life of the building down enough so that when you clicked on it, it would, go ahead and take it over really quickly, or you could just throw 2 or 3 at it. The first one would do damage to the building. The second one would do even more damage, maybe depending on the strength of the building, and then the third one would actually take it over. But that's when you started getting into really complicated stuff. So it'd be cool if they could do the same thing. Maybe have the little small bots that you see out there, very easy to take over, and then the bigger bots, the medium-sized ones, take a little bit more, and then the big guys, the geocore ones, take, outrageous amounts to take over, and you might have to do a lot of damage for that. But that would allow me, a player that has a little bit of a difficult time taking over pieces that seem to get destroyed very quickly, the ability to say, I don't care how much damage I take, I don't care if the bot that I'm using right now is completely and totally annihilated. I want the guy, and I want him intact. I want everything he has on him, and I want the ability to do something with him. And I think this is where my plane guy got destroyed, because there's a few pieces over here. I don't have any room for these venture ones, do I? I might have a little space right here. There's one right there. Do I have any more space for my... You know what? I can always stick them here in the center. It's not going to be of any value. It's not going to be able to shoot anything. It's going to be blocked, but at least I have it until the day where I can maybe add on to my bot a little bit more. Oh, yeah, look at those. There's pieces over here. As my tech still sitting over here. This is one of the farthest places I've actually gotten with any of my bots, and they've always seemed to get destroyed by the time they get out here, although this guy's doing fantastic. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to pick up all of this stuff, because I don't like having this guy out here. He's having a hard time moving, too. I think he's a little bit overweight. Oh, come on, boosters. Oh, yeah, I like the boosters. They get you out of those rough spots. Definitely go ahead and, put some money into those. Get some of those pieces and just have them in the back. They don't even necessarily have to be on the back of your bot. They can be on the inside of your bot as long as they have room. And from what I've seen, they don't do damage to things that are behind them. They should. I definitely believe that they should do damage that way. But they're not at the moment. They're not doing damage. So if you have them directly on top, like this guy back here used to be directly on top of this this little bubble, and it was never doing any damage to it. In fact, I can put it right back there, and I'll go ahead, nope, not build mode, go back into it, and you can see it fires right through it, and none of them take damage there. So definitely a unique way to take advantage of that situation. We need to put these in the front. One of the downsides is the fact that my my batteries are in the center, and these things only have so much of a reach. So if you want to be able to have that ability to continue to use stuff like that, the batteries, you're definitely going to want to keep putting them a little bit further out to the outside so that you can do it. And of course, you only really need one. As long as it can touch one battery, the power can go from any of the batteries that you have on your bot through all the blocks to the other ones. So you don't really have to worry too much about, actually spacing them out evenly is what I'm getting at. You can just have a cheat and have one battery over here on the side, and everything's still working hunky-dory after that. So let's see. We're going to go a little bit over here and a little bit in this direction. Actually, I'm gonna level that out because I don't want anything falling through the cracks later on. That was a problem that I ran into with some of my my bigger bots, and I was okay with it at the time. But as I said later on, ooh, and we get this little special piece back. This is a pipe machine gun, something I hadn't really seen before and haven't really seen since, and it's not something I can buy. Even though I've obviously gotten access to it, I've obviously found the piece. I'm not able to actually buy that piece. So yeah, once you find some of these experimental blocks, that's pretty much it. Like you're not going to be able to get more, and that kind of sucks. But in the same time, it's kind of cool that it's something new. It's something that they're giving you to try out, and they don't want you to have too much of it, but they do want you to have enough of it to play around with. And so I'm gonna play around with it a little bit. I'm gonna keep it kind of protected. I probably won't put it on the front of my bot. That seems to be where all the damage is taken. So if I can put it over here on the side, where all like the secondary weapons are going, I think that's gonna be fine. Until I can, of course, maybe we'll put it up there because that will fire, and it's protected by 2 shield generators. So I would have to lose all my power and then some for that to get destroyed. Let's see, what else do we have over here? Do we have any more weapons we can put on the front? No, but we do have more spaces for weapons now, finally. And of course, we don't want to forget that we have the sides over here that the weapons can go on. And that is one of the reasons I do love doing this design I have. Let's see, what is the power at? 2 bubbles? It's not enough. 3 is where I like to have it before we take off. We do have space in here now, though, guys, that if I do make it back to town and I have enough money, I have enough items to sell or something along those lines, I will go ahead and put another one of these batteries in here. But they're so freaking expensive. They are so expensive that I don't know when's the next opportune time I'll have to be able to afford to buy one of those. So yeah, it's just it's kind of unlucky. What is this? Is everything over there? Yeah, I think everything's fine right there. Seems like there's 2 repair bubbles in there somewhere. Right here in the center. Looks like there's one too many. I don't see the second one. Oh, is it this one right here? Yeah, I think it is. So if I put that there, yeah. So we have an extra one we don't necessarily need. I guess I'll stick it right there for now. Kind of want to put it in the middle, but we'll leave it right there. Let's see, what is our power at? It is close to getting to 3. Wow. It uses a lot of friggin' power. I think we're going to have to upgrade and go with more of these solar reactors. 2 seem to be working for a long time. Now, not so much. Maybe even go with a couple more wireless chargers, because I think you need pretty much twice as many wireless chargers as you do solar reactors, because the solar reactors, they create a lot of power. However, the wireless chargers can only, actually shoot off so much of that power. What am I stuck on? It's going to be crap underneath me, I think. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Boosters for the win? No? Let's go into build mode and then hit boosters. And boosters, yep, there we go. We'll give you that extra little, oomph to get over those little edges. And I'm just going to just mow this stuff down. Oh, man, I love the Uzis. Oh, jeez, I cannot tell you how much I love those Uzis. Unfortunately for me, most of my Uzis are not in the front of my bot. So now the strongest part of my bot is the sides. I guess we can live with that. It's not too bad. I'm still looking for more grays on the map, guys. That is kind of what I'm after here. But I can't resist going after enemies like this when I see them. Because first of all, they're big. They have a lot of stuff on them. And I'm here. Like, I have the power to do it. And I want to see what they drop. Never quite know. Come on, die, die, die. Oh, yes, you're dead. Okay, what do you got over here, guy? I know, actually, you're still alive. Holy crap. Okay, now you're dead. Maybe. Nope, not quite. Yes, there you go. Okay, jeez. That dude just kept on ticking, man. He did not want to die. Okay, what do we got here? Not going to use that. But we will use the stud lasers. Haven't been finding as many of those as I would have liked. We do have another bubble here, so I'll just throw that on the side. I'm not going to pick it up. That would just be more power that I'm kind of, sucking off and not really getting my money's worth out of it. Let's actually put this over here for now. I do wish that they would fix that so that you could actually be able to put these things down when your bot gets big. That's one of the serious problems that I run into with Geocore all the time. Is it's just so tall, it goes up so high up off the ground that when I actually try to throw my solar generators on the ground or anything on the ground, anything that I actually need to place, it doesn't really let me. It just kind of gets stuck, and it's just a nightmare waiting to happen. So yeah, it's I'm hoping they fix that at some point down the road. Until they do, though, it's just a nuisance. It's not really something that's going to break the game for me. Something that I'm not going to be able to live with. I have figured out little tricks to kind of do that with. If you take another cab and you drop him on the ground, you can take that cab over, and when you do that, you're able to actually see a closer image of the ground itself, and therefore then you can grab that off of the other main bot and put it down that way. It's kind of a hassle to have to go that route, but it's doable. So kind of play around with it and see what methods you can do to get something to work the way you want it to work, even if the game necessarily isn't there yet. You got to remember, it's still a game in development, so they're going to have some issues with some of the stuff they're working on. They're going to do it as fast as they can, obviously. They're trying to make the game very enjoyable for you, and I think they've done a fantastic job. But until it's completely done, even when games are completely done, for those of you who have ever played any new game that's just come out, it takes a couple months, sometimes a little bit longer, even for the AAA titles, to get everything worked out. It takes a few updates to get some of the big stuff sorted out. And then the little tiny small stuff may take like half a year before that's all working the way it needs to be. So yeah, just kind of give them a break, let them know. That's one of the main things is they got game testers, and I would love to be a game. That would be freaking awesome to be a game tester and try out like all the new games. And you guys have seen, I'll just go off in some weird direction just to see if I can fall off the earth or something like that. So I kind of feel that is perfect for the way I tend to play games anyways. It's just I do that naturally, but I did not want to do that. Let's put that back. But yeah, it's just they have game testers, and they go out and they do weird stuff, but they don't find everything. It's almost impossible for people to find everything until you get the number of players that you get out of a game that just is popular. If you have 15 game testers, that's fantastic. Game testers will find things that most other players won't because they are going off looking for them. However, when you get 60,000 people, 1 million people, 2 million people playing your game, those people are just going to find more than your average game tester will, because the sheer number of possibilities of people doing strange and weird stuff. Unfortunately, a lot of times people don't tell the game company about the problems that they find. They just kind of complain about them. They're like, oh, this thing did this. Well, we understand the game freaked out on you, but could you give us a little bit more information? What graphics card were you using, CPU? Were you doing any other processes in the back? Things of that sort. I really wish game companies would give you the option. I don't want them to ever force it on people, but it would be nice for them to give you the option of downloading a program that you could have running in the background that would just monitor the system for any weird errors that happen when the game's running. And if it does run, if it does happen, a lot of the time the games, they already have something integrated into them like this one does, because it's still in development, I think is the reason they did it. But yeah, they have that so they can say, hey, you have a bug. And I've even shown you guys when it's happened to me several times where it says, oh, this is a fatal error. Write a little email, let us know what you were doing, and maybe give us a little, some context or something along those lines of what happened. And, and then of course send a little bug report, which is monitoring like the system and what it's doing as far as like CPU usage and RAM and, all this other stuff that's very valuable to them to fixing those issues. Because you got to remember, when people are doing this as a living to find these errors, they're running a lot of stuff in the background, and they're looking at the coding as it's going on, and they're able to actually see what's malfunctioning, and then they can go back and fix it. Because if I say, the wheel fell through the earth and then, flew up into the sky, well, yeah, those are the effects of, what happened. I don't know why I can't move right here. These things are just not touching the ground as much as I would like. These things over here aren't touching the ground at all because this ground is uneven, so I need to move up just a little bit. But yeah, if you tell them the effects of what happens, sometimes that's like diagnosing an illness based off of the symptoms. And the symptoms can be misleading sometimes. So they need those actual diagnostic tools to really get a handle. I don't know why my right-hand side is not moving. There we go. Finally. Wow. Okay, so without my right-hand side, this is what I was talking about. When all the weight gets put on one side, it becomes massively unstable. Just not enough, strength on those wheels to support all of the weight on just, a few wheels. But if you put extra wheels on that side, if I was somehow able to manage to come up with a way to incorporate more wheels without incorporating more weight, that would help us out, and that would be a lot faster of a bot. Because you can see it's fast, but it's not as fast as it could be. But guys, I think we're going to go ahead and end the episode here. I do want to thank you guys for watching. If you do enjoy these videos, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe. Definitely look forward to hearing your comments. This has been a fun build. I think this guy is awesome. We'll probably take him back to the main base, on the next episode. We'll have to venture back because that's going to be probably another 20, 30 minutes to get him back there. And we may find some pretty good, pieces of equipment that way. We're not going to go the exact same route. We're going to kind of swing back a different way. Maybe even go off to the, ooh, look, there's a great thing on the map. Let's go over there and check that out before we end the episode. But yeah, we're definitely going to keep our eyes open for new pieces to play around with as we go back. But on the next set of videos, now that, I'm going to stop for the day, on the next set of videos, I think what we're going to play around with is either the airplanes. Ooh, what is this? Is that a beard? It's a beard. Oh my god. Jolly white beard, guys. Where can I put that? Can I put that on the front? Can I? This is weird right there on the corner. What if you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to put it up here on the front. There we go. And now all we need is some eyeballs. We do have eyeballs back at the base, so I can put some eyeballs over here on the side. And yeah, it's starting to come together. I like it. It's weird. And it has lights down here, which is kind of cool. I like those. But guys, thanks again for watching, and I will definitely catch you all next time.